All right, boys and girls, we are ready for the next step of our project. We have typed up our writing, and now we are ready for the next part. So I need to be in my Drive. I can get there again by my Apps button, and I click on Drive. Now remember the folder you have created. I'm going to click on that folder so I'm inside of it, and then I'm going to create a drawing. So click on drawing. It's going to ask you, do you want to share it? And say, yep, that's okay. Now the first thing we're going to do again is we are going to give it a title. So my writing again is called I Am a Camel. And then I'm going to say, okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an illustration of my writing. So when I think of a camel, I might think of first starting with my background. So if I want, I can use shapes like, let's say, a rectangle. I can make a rectangle to fill the space. I can make it blue. I can make it light yellow, whatever I think might represent what I'm trying to do. Maybe I might make yellow that halfway. If I make another, I might then put it on top and make one blue for like the sun, maybe like the Sahara Desert down there. Now I might take other shapes. I can then create my camel. So I can then press the color I want to fill the circle. I can decide other ones I might like better. Okay, or I can even go down here to custom and I can make something lighter, darker, and that maybe that's too light, too dark, maybe something like this. So here I might have the body of my camel. I can make the lines around the shapes really thin. I can make the lines really thick. So depending on what you're drawing, you can play around with that. Okay, another tool I could use is I have some lines. So if I click on lines, I can do straight lines. So maybe I can start with lines for the legs. I can make them the color I made before. I might say, oh, now if I make a mistake, I can say go back. I can make the lines really thick. And if I like it, I can say copy. And then I have to click back or somewhere else, like outside, and then I'm going to say edit, paste. And I'll paste another one. So I can move that. I can click outside and say file, paste. And again, now I can create the legs. I could also use a different tool. I can go up to line. The curved line is quite fun. I can start here and I can just tap and tell the curved line where to go. So these could be my sand dunes, and I have to double click again to tell it what to do. Now I can again go make it my sand dunes. I can even fill in the back as well. Now that might be a little dark, so I might want to go with something a little bit lighter in the background. That's my curve line. Now to turn it off, I click on my cursor, which then makes it go back to being able to choose. I could even then add a text. So clicking on the T, I can put a title. So I can write, I am a camel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish my camel. I hope you will have just as much fun as I am. And a couple of the last tools I want to introduce you to are some other pieces that you might be interested, but let's say I'm going to make a shape. Let's say I want to make the hump of my camel. So I can turn a shape by pressing on this little circle outside a shape. I might want to turn it to make the hump. Now, I'm going to have to make that the color I want. Now, the problem with this hump is that if I click outside, it kind of looks a little out of place. So, if I click on the circle and then right-click my mouse, I have this button called Order. And I'm going to tell the circle to come to the front, or bring to front. And now my hump is behind my body, making it flow a little bit. Okay? So I'm also going to tell you, like, let's say I do this, but I don't like it very much. I think I would like to figure out how to make my hump a little bit different. So if I make a mistake, I can go back to this undo button, and I can keep undoing it until it goes to the way I want. Or I can click, and I can also delete. So I hope that helped you a little bit with getting started. Go ahead and make a drawing, illustration that represents your typing. You may go.